I just had the craziest evening with the girls and was drinking one last cocktail when I decided I should go and take the last bus home. After some brisk walking, I managed to catch the bus just in time and settle in. The bus is practically empty, so I find a seat as the bus pulls away from the station and close my eyes briefly. As I settle down, I hear someone sit right behind me. Why in God's name would you choose to sit right on top of another person? As the bus starts to move further down the street, I hear the guy behind breathing with this weird, unusual high-pitched sound, almost like a snake's hiss. I feel a little nervous about the weirdo sitting just behind me, but I don't really want to turn around. I suddenly start looking out the window just to try and see if I can catch a glimpse of the guy in the reflection. The breathing starts to get louder as I see kind of a weird shape moving closer to me. I take my phone out of my handbag to text my boyfriend and see that my battery is running low. Great. I start texting to let him know that I'm on my way home and that there's this creepy guy on the bus. I send the message, but I'm feeling more and more concerned now, so I decide to get off the bus at the next stop and try to shake the guy off of me. As I start to rise from my seat and look around at the upcoming stop, I start pressing the bell and wait for the doors to open. I briskly get off the bus, but I hear the creep get up and follow me. As we get off the bus, I quickly turn around and jump back on board before the doors close as if I've made a mistake. I feel like I can breathe again, my chest untightening now that I feel a bit safer. I turn around and check the guy out of curiosity. He was really tall and looked beefy, dressed with a really long coat and an old-fashioned dark hat. As the bus pulls away from the curb, the creepy guy slowly turns his head to look directly at me through some kind of dark veil covering his eyes. I can just about make out the twisted grin on his face. A chill ran through me. He knows how freaked out I feel and enjoyed it. A few minutes later, I finally get to my stop and get out of the bus walking as fast as possible. I've had my fair share of creeps, but usually they're just annoyances. This time, I just feel like I escaped something bad and I want to lock myself in my room as fast as possible. I turn around the small, dark alley to access the lobby of my building and finally get to the doors. I start checking my bag for the key as the light turns on and I look over my shoulder, still really stressed out, and I feel like I see something dark and still at the end of the path, but it's really too dark to tell. I start to freak out and fumble for my keys. My whole body is shaking. I finally get my keys and unlock the lobby's door, but as soon as I start opening, I hear the terrible hiss behind me again. I rush inside and try to close the door, but the man slams it hard open. The lobby's light turns on as I freeze for a second and look at him. I thought he was grinning when I saw him earlier, but up close, I know now that I was deeply wrong. His face was completely twisted and disfigured, scars covering every inch of skin, his mouth stretched from left to right with no teeth apparent, his eyes still covered by the dark veil. I was going to die. I yell and run through the lobby to reach the stairwell's door, but as I get close to it, I suddenly feel the man reaching. He pulls me back and throws me to the ground before feeling my skull crack on the floor. I try to get up, but he's immediately getting on top of me and starts choking me with both hands. I manage to scratch his face a few times, but he doesn't make a sound. He just keeps strangling me, putting all his weight on my neck. He doesn't care about what damage I inflict on him. His only focus is on hurting me. I'm staring at the man's bruised and bloody, twisted face as I start feeling a stream of tears run down my cheeks. My vision gets blurry. I feel like my eyes are about to pop out of my skull. My body gives in, starts to spasm everywhere. I'm dead. I suddenly jump from the floor and yell as loud as possible. I start fighting off the man that's holding me. I try to stand up, but my body won't move. I keep fighting to break free from him. I can't feel the man's cold hands on my throat anymore. I stopped struggling slowly.
You're safe now.
These are the last words I remember from that night. As the neighbors started calling for medical and police assistance, I just fainted and everything went dark again. After what happened, me and my boyfriend decided to move in together and change cities, as I could not feel safe anymore. The man was never caught after my murder attempt. Police had no leads, even though this was not the first time they had something similar happen. The killer was a ghost, untraceable. My normal and careless life was over. I just wanted to get out of there, and so we did. After a few weeks in the new little town, I felt a bit more secure. Being able to know all your neighbors helps a lot for sure. We had a little safe cocoon for us there, and I finally felt I could live again. I still had trouble sleeping though, so most nights I would get to bed and write about my thoughts until I collapsed. Tonight was no different. As I turn off the TV and get up from the couch, my boyfriend asks if I'm done for the night. I just get closer to him, kiss him goodnight, while he keeps playing with some friends online. I stop at the door and stare at him for a few seconds. He's such an angel. He helped me so much to get through the nightmare I've been living since the attack. He was my protector now. I go wash my face before getting in bed and start writing as usual. Tonight's session was cut short though, as I felt exhausted. I turned off my bedside lamp and started checking my socials while falling asleep. A minute or two after, I feel my phone falling on my chest and put it on the nightstand and turn my back to it. I slowly start to fall back to sleep when I hear a faint sound. Feels like it's getting closer, like it's behind me. My blood froze instantly. Listen, man. You found me.